Occoquan is home to 1,044 people. It has a median household income of $117,448 and a median home value of $505,000. I'm actually going to take you into my computer so that I can show you around on Google Maps, give you an idea of where Occoquan is located in proximity to Washington, D.C. and major employment hubs in our area, along with proximity to our local airports, public transportation, and what it has to offer for shopping, dining, and entertainment. Before we get into commute times from the area, as you can see, it is nestled along the banks here of the Occoquan River. Absolutely picturesque location. And this applies obviously to residents living there, can take a stroll right down to the river, but it also applies to tourists coming to see the area. And Occoquan definitely has its fair share of tourists because it is just a beautiful location. Lots to see, lots to do. And in particular, there are, of course, lots of water activities because of being on the river. So let's take a look at what commuting by car first will look like and heading into Washington, D.C. It's just about 20 miles south of Washington, D.C., depending on where you are in Occoquan. Occoquan is not a large area, only about 9.8 square miles. So you won't have to make much adjustment and you're looking at about 40 minutes. During peak commute time, this will definitely push closer to an hour, maybe even a little bit longer, just depending on what time you're heading out of Occoquan and into the city. 95 does see its fair share of traffic, as does 395. Let's also take a look at Arlington because that's such a big employment hub in our area. It's going to be just a tad bit closer than DC. Arlington bumps right up to DC, just split by the river. So not a whole lot of difference. I would say anywhere from 30 to 45 minutes, and same situation, depending on what time you're heading out of Occoquan to Arlington or vice versa, just depending on peak commute times. It could be hour, a little bit more than an hour. Let's also check out Tyson's Corner because that is yet another major employment hub in our area. That coming from Occoquan, you're going to be looking about, I would say 30 to 45 minutes. Again, just depending on what traffic is doing, in particular 95. It's about the same distance, 25 miles from Occoquan. If you are living in Occoquan and do not want to deal with driving your own car into the city, then another option would be to pick up the VRE, also known as Virginia Railway Express. And the closest station from Occoquan is going to be the Lorton station, very nearby, just about 5 miles away. Anywhere from 10 to 20 minutes, again, just depending on what traffic is doing, but not far at all if you would just prefer to hop on the train and not deal with any headaches of commuting via car. That is certainly an option when living in Occoquan. If this is your first time at the channel and you want to know everything there is to know about living, eating, sleeping, working, and playing in Northern Virginia, be sure to hit that subscribe button and tap that bell for notifications so that you'll never miss a video. If you're curious about Metro from Occoquan, your closest station is going to be Franconia Springfield, and that's right on Frontier Drive in Springfield. Depending on traffic, you're looking at anywhere from 15 to 30 minutes. If it's just an absolutely atrocious day, it could be a little bit further, but not too bad. 10 to 12 miles, depending on where you are coming from in Occoquan, and definitely another viable option if you would prefer not to commute all the way into the city. You can certainly pick up Metro at Franconia Springfield, and at this Metro station in Springfield, there's also access to Amtrak. So if that's something you're interested in as well, be sure to keep that in mind. So now that we've talked about commuting by car or public transportation, let's also check out if you are going to be living in Occoquan and flying. The closest airport is going to be Reagan Airport, and it's not too far at all, about 20 miles away, 30 to 45 minutes. Dulles, we're also going to take a look at that because it is a major airport in our area. It's going to be quite a bit further. But if you are going to be flying internationally, Dulles is most likely going to be your best bet, and you're looking at 45 minutes. If that is not appealing to you, you have another option, which is BWI, but that is quite a bit further. I mention it simply because it may be worth it if you are shopping for flights and looking at different prices. BWI may have some better options, maybe a little bit more economical than Dulles, but just something to consider. And the other thing about Dulles, you would have to change lines on the metro, but there is access all the way out to Dulles Airport now via the Silver Line. So hypothetically, if you're living in Occoquan and you wanted to metro to the airport, you could head to Franconia Springfield Metro Station and then obviously need to change lines to head out on the Silver Line, but it is now an option. Of course, as I mentioned earlier, the river is a big draw for many, both residents and tourists coming to the area, but Occoquan has so much more to offer than just the water. Not to say it's not beautiful, it is, but let's look at some other options in the area in case you are looking for some shopping, some dining, or even a little bit of history. River Mill Park is one of the newer parks in Occoquan, and it's small. It's only about an acre, but it's absolutely beautiful. There's a nice love sign like you will see in various areas of Virginia that a lot of people like to pose in front of. And you can also cross over the bridge, and that will take you to a small waterfall, really beautiful, relaxing, just hearing the sound. This park is dog friendly, and a lot of times you will see people out with their pets taking a stroll. It is located at the northeast end of Occoquan, and that's why we're starting there, because then I'm going to work my way back. And our next stop here is going to be the Mill House Museum. And this is worth your stop if you want to see how life in Occoquan used to be many years ago. Lots of history in the museum, and you can really get a good idea of how Occoquan used to be in terms of the mill and the inner workings of Occoquan, and then also compare it to what it looks like now, because something really special about Occoquan is it has not lost its charm. It really does have that small town charm. People are very friendly, say hello when you're out walking and exploring historic Occoquan. Let's come a little bit further here, and I'm just going to mention some of the local businesses, particularly on Mill Street. I have some favorites here. Great place to just stroll around, but also to grab a bite to eat. The Thai location here is delicious. I've been there. I have also been to the Spot on Mill Street. I'm a big coffee lover, and if you are as well, I would definitely recommend this coffee shop. Coming further down here, Bottle Stop Wine Bar. If you want to grab a beverage or pick out some wines, really nice place to stop in. Very friendly staff as well. You've got an Italian restaurant here. I've never been to this, but I have heard really good things about it. Probably worth checking out as well. And then we've got to talk about Patriot Diving. They are very well known in the area. If you want to utilize their services for some diving, then they can definitely help you out with that. Now we're going to cross over Mill Street, and you have Ballywhack Shack sandwich shop in the area. That's something else to point out about Occoquan in general. There are a lot of boutique mom and pop small businesses there. I absolutely love supporting small businesses. So Occoquan is an area that I frequent regularly because I really do believe in supporting these smaller businesses. They are the heart and soul of our communities. And it's just nice to be able to go in and have that small town feel and that wonderful customer service. You also have your hair salon for your daily needs, that type of thing. Occoquan, because it's so small and does have that small town charm, you're going to have to travel a little bit outside of the area, head a little bit west to Lake Ridge. That's going to be the closest for your daily needs. We'll take a look at that shortly. You have a chocolate shop, you have an antique store, you have a toy store. You're probably getting the idea that Occoquan is just a great place to stroll around, whether you're doing like a weekend getaway or if you're just doing a day trip. And residents, of course, get to enjoy this year round. You have a bridal shop, you have Zorbas Grill. I've been to Zorbas Grill great prices, really delicious. You have Salad Saloon, you've got your post office nearby, that's always convenient. You have Guitar Works, you have another hair salon that also includes nails. And we're gonna keep coming down here because there are also a lot more restaurants that are right here on the waterfront. Madigan's Waterfront Restaurant is well known in Occoquan, been there for ages. Hitchcock Paper Company, if you're looking to pick up some stationery or some note cards. We've got an olive oil and a vinegar shop. This is a really fun shop. I don't know of another one in our area, and it's fun to just browse their different options. And then you also have Bar J Chili Parlor. I cannot talk about Occoquan and not mention Third Base and frozen custard parlor. Top 5 best custard in all of Northern Virginia. I'd maybe even say it's my favorite. Absolutely worth your visit if you like frozen custard. Also want to point out Occoquan Public Dock. You are welcome to dock for the day here. There is a fee, I believe it's $5, and I think you can give permission to stay overnight. I believe that's $35 paid to the town of Occoquan. But just want to point out, if you want to come into Occoquan by boat, there is a public dock that you can use. Space is limited, so you might find that it's full depending on what time you come in, but it is an option. Now that we've taken a spin around historic Occoquan, also want to give you an idea of how nearby your big box stores are, since that's not something that Occoquan offers. Closest is going to be Lake Ridge, and just about 2.5 miles away, not even 10 minutes. Lake Ridge has a more commercial vibe to it. You will find strip malls, you will find your grocery stores, you've got Giant, you have Lidl as well. And Lake Ridge is also where you would go for access to more daily needs in terms of more shopping. You also have more access to dining there. Not that there's any shortage of dining in Occoquan, there really isn't. Occoquan just does not have any of the commercial vibe to it. You really do have that small town feel, but all of that is very nearby, so you wouldn't be commuting too far to get what you need. Lorton is also another option that is nearby Occoquan, just about 10 minutes away, depending on where you're coming from, and that also has additional options for your grocery stores and additional dining as well. Again, not far away. I think that's something that really makes Occoquan just extra special, beyond the fact that it's right on the water and has that small town vibe. You really get the best of both worlds because you have the small town, you have the walkability, but you're also not too far from more commercialized aspects for shopping, dining, entertainment. So you can really capitalize on both. You can have that slower paced lifestyle because you're tucked away, but hop in the car and 5-10 minutes at most, you have access to anything you could possibly want or need. Even if you don't land in Occoquan, if you land in Northern Virginia, be sure to check it out. It truly is just a beautiful place to stroll around. Be sure to look at our vlog on Occoquan, and we also have a pros and cons video if you'd like to learn more. And until next time, we hope to show you around town.